Alright, so today I was able to purchase UFC EA Sports UFC 3 for Xbox One. Today the video is just going to be a review of that and just a little bit more about myself and some of the things I like to do. Well, UFC 3 is probably one of the most technical and probably most realistic combat sport video game I have played in a good long time. The last one was way back on, I think, the PlayStation 2, maybe the PlayStation 3 console, which was the Fight Night series, which was a boxing game, boxing series. And let's just say out of all the franchises and genres of fighting games in terms of combat sports, so far the Fight Night series and not all but some of the UFC games are pretty much spot on. What I really like about the EA Sports UFC 3 that they did this year is they really fine-tuned the striking, and that makes it a lot more technical than any of the other fighting games. And what I mean by technical is it makes it more realistic in terms of how the AI reacts, the artificial intelligence or the computer versus the human fighter, as well as how the controls are. For instance, in this game, in this version, what they did different is you use on both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 is the R3, which is the thumbstick, and that is pretty much just used this year for head movement, which is like when you watch boxing on television or mixed martial arts in general, you will see the fighters, especially the strikers, will bob and weave. That's basically what head movement is. And also they made it where you can really mix up the strikes, unlike other past UFC titles. Now you can actually strike, while you're moving forward or backward, instead of just standing there and then throwing a punch or a kick. So now you can actually really fight at angles like you would in real life. And you can also, the feints are a lot easier than the graphics on top of it. It's almost like watching the real thing. Not to mention some of the new submissions they have. They cut down on one thing that has always grinded my gear, so to speak, on any kind of fighting game, especially when it comes to the professional wrestling games like the WWE 2K series and all the UFC series, is the creation suite, because it takes so much time. I mean, there's so much detail that goes into creating your own fighter, your own wrestler, and your own venues, your own everything. So this year, as far as creating a moveset, they made it easier where it's based on levels that you level up your fighter with, male or female, and it's all under one category. But the different levels you do, for instance, let's say you create a Greco-Roman wrestler for your fighter. Instead of having like the double legs, the single legs individually, where you would go and click which move you want, you will go into the menu where it'll say single leg, normal, or power single leg. and then level 1 will just give you like 2 or 3 moves. Level 2 will give you like 4 or 5, and so forth, up to level 5, which will give you all the moves and all the variations of that particular move, like your suplex from the cage, from when you get the opponent pinned up against the fence of the cage and you take them down, or you slam them against the fence to set up a suplex. Same with some of the other modifications to the striking. This year it is you have the body and the technique modifiers. I believe it's the trigger, left trigger, and for the techniques for making it body shots, leg kicks to the legs, body kicks, and then your button, shoulder button, is for your hooks, your roundhouse kicks to the head, knees to the head, and then also now on the right trigger, not only, I believe it's the right button, where you can actually throw individual elbows. And then, not only that, you can also throw different types of punches, like your uppercuts, your hooks, your shovel hooks, your looping hooks, and all, by pressing like I believe it's X and Y is the punching pain strike, so you would press those together to throw a stronger punch, and then which would be your uppercuts. Then I believe it's A and B, which is your kicks. So A and B, pressing them together would be like your special kicks. So it's a lot more confusing to do some of the moves, but it's well worth it. And then they added 2 new modes that I really love doing. That takes me back to my particular days back when I was training. One of them is called Stand and Bang. Basically, it is what it sounds like. It is basically, there is no grappling in that mode. It's a stand-up only mode, meaning it'll be more like a traditional kickboxing match or Muay Thai match without the clinching, no throws. So that's always fun. And then you can also have tournament mode, and then you can change that to a stand-up only tournament, regular MMA tournament, and they even brought back open weight. So now you can have, I believe, you can have a flyweight, like the Bruce Lee version. He's in the flyweight, featherweight, and I think Walter, he's like in 3 or 4 different weight classes. So you can have the lightest version of him fight somebody as big as like Mark Hunt. They even got Kimbo Slice in there, so that's awesome. And then the other mode that I really love is called Submission Showdown. It's just basically grappling, basically jiu-jitsu and submission wrestling at its finest. No striking, and it's just awesome. I've been waiting for a game to have at least both of those separate modes. And then of course they got their regular way to do regular fights, win by submission, knockout, technical knockout, referee stoppage. So it's a lot more in depth. As far as some of the other things that I enjoyed last time, I spoke about, I am a certified peer support specialist. I'm also on the spectrum and an advocate. Well, I'm also on the side, I am a pet sitter. I have a couple of clients and even family members that I watch pets for, and I watch their houses and do any kind of light housekeeping that they may need done. Animals is getting a big passion of mine, and I've been volunteering with the CSRA Humane Society for over almost 7 years. October, I believe, the 11th or the 10th will mark exactly 7 years. Then, also, I'm really big into church. I am a prayer group member at Stevens Creek Community Church. I'm also on the First Impressions team. I help collect the offering. I open doors and greet people and help them occasionally find seats for the service. I do a couple of other different tasks that are assigned to me. I'm also part of a co-ed young singles adult group, which is pretty fun, at another church, and also another prayer group. And I do believe that finding religion and finding inner peace is a big step in recovery as well. Regardless of what religion a person is, I believe that is the most important thing. Not to mention just fellowship in general, going and finding like-minded people in small groups, and those really helps, especially when you can find a place you can open up and network with. In some future videos also, I will be talking about, what types of trainings there are out there for people not just on the spectrum, but who do have disabilities, and also for family members or caretakers who might be interested in advocacy field work, as well as just learning more to help their loved one through these hard times. So like I said, this is the way this channel is going to operate. It's going to be a little bit of vlogging on my daily activity, not necessarily daily activities, but just my thoughts and what I enjoy, as well as my gaming experience and reviews. So what I would say is, today has also been a very great day, because I got to dog sit my mom and stepdad's puppy today, which is a Lhasa Apso mixed with Shih Tzu, cutest little dog ever. And I got to play my new game and got a few chores done, and just living life the way I need to. Well, y'all have a great night. Enjoy.